And then we called them in. We gave respect to Wells Fargo, who had been our banker since 1846, one at a time. We called them in one at a time, told them what we wanted. We wanted lower interest rate. We wanted to triple our line of credit. We wanted this. We wanted more car loans, mortgages, credit cards, everything for all the senior people, which is about 9 or 10 of us. And I said, as the cherry, I said, and I'm leaving, I'm retiring. And everybody's happy about that because I'm leaving. And I said that I think I gave them 4 or 5 days to come back with their proposal. Okay. So there's 9 banks out there. 2 banks just got up and left. We're not going to go through this shit. We're not going to go through this beauty contest. And the other 7 came through and listened to the same pitch I gave them. Okay. And I said, we'd like to have the numbers within 3 or 4 days. After they heard the pitch, 2 more banks left. We're not going to go through this. We're not going to go through this. So now, of the 9, we've got 5 banks left. So the banks come back in and the prescribed time, and I sat down with each one of them, and I said, I want a financial summary. They all came through with, big War and Peace bullshit. And I said, I just want the financial summaries. And I told each one I'd get back to them by the next day, and I told the 5 that they had to sharpen their pencils, meaning they had to come up with better numbers than they were coming up with. 1 more dropped out. So now we got 4 left, okay? And so 4 came back 48 hours later. They did it again, okay? And I told them again, you guys, Wells Fargo was one of the finalists. You obviously aren't listening to me. I said, if necessary, we will go from Fresno to the Bay Area and get a real fucking bank. So don't fuck with me. Okay, 1 other bank dropped out. Okay, you can't talk to me that way. Who the fuck are you? I said, fine, out. Yeah. So now we got 3 banks left. 3 banks left. They came back again 48 hours later. Same deal. Now, in the meantime, my staff is going fucking bananas. Because if they pull our line, we're out of business. We're just flat fucking out of business.
How much term did you have left?
We had...
This is all going on.
Okay, this is all going on. We had about $500,000 left, and we had about 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
6 weeks. So we really didn't have time to. We're not going to get somebody in there, and my people knew it. They knew it, and we knew they knew it. But you gotta stand up, be counted. Okay. So now we got 3 banks left. One of which is Wells Fargo, and they came back with the numbers, and I said not good enough. And 1 more dropped out. So now we got 2 banks left. We got Wells Fargo, which has been our banker since around 1850, through all the wars, yada, yada, and these other guys. And so now it's 10 days, almost 2 weeks have passed. And so it's a Wednesday. I said by Friday at 5 o'clock, Thursday at 5 o'clock, we need to know. So they got back to us, and actually both of the banks were within 10 basis points of each other on interest rate. It was a pretty equal race. But I told them they had to sharpen their pencils again. Okay. And I said, I told the Wells Fargo guy who had been our banker for 170 years, so I really like to see you win, but I don't like to tell you that right now it doesn't look too good for you. It doesn't look too good for you. But I want to do the right thing, but I have the shareholders. I have a fiduciary responsibility to my shareholders and my partners. And so this guy is looking at me like I'm a shitbag, obviously. So I said, but you've got till 5 o'clock tomorrow, Friday, to meet me. I wrote on a piece of paper what we wanted, which was maybe 5 or 7% better than he had offered. You got till Friday to match this, or I'm going to take the whole deal to San Francisco. Now, he leaves. Now, the owner of the deal was a reformed alcoholic, a reformed heroin user that had done time. He was from Hanford, California. Now, in his neck, his vein here, doom, is just pumping because, he says, Dan, everything that I have, if they pull the line, we're fucked. I said, they're not gonna. Now, in the back of my head, the devil's saying, they may pull it, Dan. They may just say, fuck you, Dan. Okay, so the 5 o'clock comes and goes, and as the second hand, like in an Alfred Hitchcock movie, as it swung past 5 o'clock, my guys are in a panic. And I'm trying to be as cool, calm, and collected as I can be. And I've already tendered my resignation. I'm already leaving. I'm giving my 35% of stock to his daughter. But as he said, 35% of nothing's fucking nothing. If we got nothing left and they pull the plug, we're fucked. So about 55 seconds after 5, the phone rings. He wants to pick it up. Let it ring. Let it ring. It rang once. It rang twice. It rang 6 or 7 times. And then I picked it up. Warner and Company. And they said, the senior vice president said, "Is this Mr. Peña?" I said, "You know it is." He says, "You won, asshole. Thank you. You got the deal. The papers will be there Monday." Click. So I didn't say anything. I put my coat on. I poured myself a little drink. And so they're all, "What the fuck happened? What the fuck happened?" He said he'd do it. So now everybody's popping, everybody's happy as Larry now. And they're also happy because I'm leaving. And I said, but this is how you renegotiate a line. And of course, I'm sure none of them have ever done that since. And they were glad to see me leave Fresno. And the bank was glad to see me leave. And about 5 years later, I'm in San Francisco at the Wells Fargo headquarters for a completely different thing. And I bump into the guy. Now he's an executive VP. And I get this tap on the shoulder, this little guy. And he's, "Oh, Mr. Peña, how are you?" I said, "Fine. How are you doing?" He says, "Well, I'm now the head of worldwide some horse shit." And he said that, that was a real learning experience for the bank. And I said, "What do you mean? How could I ever teach Wells Fargo how to do anything?" He says, "You know what I mean, but thank you very much. And I'm glad you're not, are you banking with us anyplace?" I said, "I don't think so. I'll have to do a check." And he says, "Well, thank you. Good luck to you." And that's the last time I saw him. And obviously, when I see the Wells Fargo guy in the Too Big to Fail, I think of that scenario. But I left the business, recapitalized, well capitalized with a lot of cash. But I played hardball. And when you said, "Can I play the banks? Is that okay?" Of course, that story flashes back. I didn't do anything illegal, immoral, unethical, but I did take a big risk. But I'd always thought, even if they pulled the line, our comeback chit was, well, Dan is resigning, and he's fallen on his sword, and he's leaving. And I assumed that they would come back and still do the deal. But I didn't have to do that, and I was leaving anyway. But
did you have any other bank lined up?
Yeah, correct.
So you were gonna refinance already, and Wells probably would have.
Yeah, we were going to go to Bank of America in San Francisco, but they didn't know that. But and the 9 local banks didn't. They were just most of them, or many of them, were insulted because I would put them through a beauty contest like that. And but I mean, it would have been a great credit for them. I mean, we were the second biggest credit in Fresno at the time, and it would have made some of the other regional banks, put them in a different league, but it didn't happen for them, and we stuck with Wells Fargo. But I still remember we went through the Civil War with you. We've been through Spanish American, World War I, World War II, the Korean, and all these. And I said, "Yeah, I know, I understand that, but you're going to have to put in a bid anyway." Yeah, you're going to have to put in a bid anyway.
You always forget that you paid them interest for years.
Correct. Thank you.
They always forget about those.
Yeah. And I had the controller. How much interest have we paid them since 1846? Right. And it's interesting to look at the interest rates because during that 150-year period, there was some time, horrendous interest rates, that back in the 1800s, in the various stock crashes, the crash in 1907 in the stock market, the crash in 1870, something or other in the stock. you forget. But not many businesses have the history going back that far. But to the best of my knowledge, they still bank with Wells Fargo, and I'm sure they haven't been put through that trying kind of test anymore. Make sure you get that picture. Those are QLA mentees feeding at the trough. There they are, and they've been let out on the world, and that's why I expect them in a year from now to all be twice as fat from the excess that they've eaten. Any questions about anything we've covered? We've covered a lot of material. We're going to have our graduation tonight, and as Sally would say, we're going to have a lot of fun. You guys will probably have more fun than I will, because you'll drink more. But it's not mandatory that you drink, but most of the kids do. Anything else? Any other examples that I can share with you?
Is dealing with lawyers just like a TV show Suits?
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's yeah. You mean the TV program?
TV program.
Correct. It is. But I mean, most lawyers are in the will treat you professionally, but you have to deal with all the professionals coming from strength. You know, it's not unprofessional to put them on their back heels. And when you start going through the scripts and asking them the questions, I told you early when Freshfields represented me here, and Timothy Talik, who was the managing partner, the number one guy on the note paper, as they say here, he used to say, we represent the Queen of England, the Bank of England, the Church of England, and Dan Peña. It is okay to play with the banks, Greg, but play hardball. The challenge is that most of the kids watching on YouTube and yourselves have not been trained, not most of you. I mean, Ben has been through baptism in the fire, and a couple other of you have been through baptism in the fire. But I mean, you got to play hardball. I mean, it's not easy out there. And anybody that thinks it's easy hasn't had the privilege of accumulating a lot of wealth. Yeah, so the answer is play hardball. And you've got all the tools now. And you can play the orchestra. Did you have a question, Matthew?
Kind of unrelated, I'll wait for.
Okay. Anything else? Yeah.
You said I'm younger.
Well, you're not. I mean, you're old in this room. Okay. How old are you?
27.
27. How many people less than 27 do we have in the room? Okay. 2. Okay. I stand corrected. Okay. Go ahead.
How do you, as far as meeting the chairman, the board, how do you think they'll interact with you?
Well, I mean, the good news is you're just getting out of the military in a few days, and most people are. That's a positive, okay? Because you're assumed to have leadership skills and some of the other things that the other young kids, 27-year-old kids, don't have. But the sooner that you can exhibit those leadership skills, the better. They'll give you the benefit of the doubt coming out of the blocks, but not too long. It's the same thing if you went to one of those schools, like an Ivy League school or an Oxford, etc. That'll get you the interview and may get you the job, but you got to perform then. You got to perform, and they will give you the benefit of the doubt, but only in the beginning. And YouTube, I hope somebody gives you the benefit of the doubt. And remember, Brian QLA Rose will be inducted into the Hall of Fame in the next 10 days. He's changed millions of lives, and we're looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to his acceptance speech. And again, for anybody that tweets Joe Rogan, I looked at it again, and I'd be happy for him to use my material, and I'd be happy to be on his show. Thank you very much. God bless. YouTube.